It was a bright, sunny September morning in Calgary's Western Coffee Shop and Diner when Ian Baker posed a question to the table. That question: would you guys be up for doing a fundraiser show? This uncommon outburst of altruism from a bassist piqued the interest of the others at the table. That day, the idea for Napalmpom was born. The fundraiser, a tribute show, and these diners would pay tribute to legendary Canadian rock band Tricky Woo. Immediately, the pieces started to come together. On rhythm guitar, the Adam Browns' Sean Petcher. On lead, Forbidden Dimensions and the English Teeth's Craig Evans. On drums, Matt Bailiff from Calgary's Bayer Floor. From Snake Frenzy and the Martyr Index, the aforementioned philanthropic bassist Ian Baker. There was only one element missing: a vocalist. And who did they turn to? Local video editor Ian Thomas Day, who was most notable for appearing in short films as a character who was on the toilet for some reason. Ian knew the songs. That was basically it. They needed a guy who knew Tricky Woo's legendary album, Sometimes I Cry. And so Ian got the job. After a few rehearsals in Baker's rustically decorated basement, it was showtime. The show was a resounding success, earning upwards of $17 for a charity that not one of the members of the band could name today. The 5 members of Tricky 2 agreed that something magical had happened that night. Napalmpom had formed. Over the next several months, songs were crafted, lyrics were written, and shows were booked. In the early days, Napalmpom graced the stages of such esteemed venues as the beer-soaked stage of the Ship and Anchor, the Nook in local 510 that's sort of a stage when you move the booths out, and the floor at a warehouse near Chinook Mall, used mostly for puppetry. As Loverboy might put it, the kids were hot tonight. But where will they be tomorrow? That was the question that loomed. A dark cloud was forming on the horizon. Unfortunately, Ian had bad news for the band. He was moving to England, the land of tea and crumpets, to follow his dream of paying 4 times the amount of rent for half the space, and being in an improv troupe so that he could pretend to sit on a toilet in front of an audience of 15 to 20 people who aren't exactly sure what improv is. Before his departure, though, it was decided that the band needed to record history. So they headed into legendary Calgary producer Lorrie Matheson's studio to record. This studio session, recorded in a hurry 3 hours before Ian's flight departed, is a mixture of howling guitars, crashing drums, and lyrics about the Gladiator 2 spec script. A recording so spectacular, the band decided it was too dangerous to release, and thus it was locked away in a safe and buried at the top of Mount Columbia. That is, until today. But as you well know, that wasn't the end of Napalmpom. After a ridiculously long and arduous search, interviewing and auditioning thousands of potential replacements, the band decided that local karaoke host PJ Laverne would take over as lead singer. Why? Well, he knew the songs. And now, as Napalmpom rockets further into the stratosphere, with PJ as their more handsome, friendlier, and undeniably better lead singer, we look back at the humble beginnings of Napalmpom, fronted by a guy that really just knew the songs. The Climb to Heaven has too many stairs. A musical portrait of a time when a bunch of guys could actually get together in a room to write and perform rock and roll.